Hello, my name is Christopher from Dream Tech, and welcome to the one-day quiz tutorial. In this video course, I will give you everything you need to build your very own lead gen quiz in one day. A couple quick things before we start. First, this DIY tutorial assumes that you have some experience using marketing tools, form builders, or back-end content creation tools. While we've done our best to map out the steps, there's a number of options which can be confusing or challenging for some users. That said, if you get stuck at any time, you can easily upgrade to the Done With You option, where all you have to do is provide me with the questions, answers, and all the other content, and I will personally set up the entire quiz technology for you and connect it to your CRM so it works perfectly. And of course, the cost of the DIY course you've purchased right now will be discounted from the price, so you'll never double pay. If you're stuck ever during this course and you're interested in upgrading, just email me at christopher@dreamtechbff.com, and you can also send me any questions to that email address as well. The second thing is that, above all, this quiz is meant to generate new leads and bring them into your funnel. To do this, you're going to need to connect your quiz to a CRM email system, something like Kit or MailChimp or Flowdesk. You'll need to do this through Zapier, and because there's endless ways that you can connect Zapier to these different systems, I simply can't create tutorials for each of them. However, if you've used Zapier before, I guarantee this would be very easy for you to do. But still, if you're having trouble with just this CRM and Zapier connection part, I'm able to do just this part for a small fee as well. Just email me if you need help. Okay, and with that, we are ready to begin. Okay, so the first thing you're going to need is a Typeform account. And we're not affiliated with Typeform, but we recommend it for its super simple way of importing content and its really clean interface. And the free plan allows you to receive 10 quiz takers submissions every month. So you get to start off without really spending a dime. And if and when you're getting more than 10 quiz takers a month, you can easily upgrade to the basic plan, which is $25 a month. This also gives you a couple more tools, design options for your branding and images. You can sign up at typeform.com, and once you have a Typeform account, you can move on to the next step. Okay, before we get into building the quiz itself, let's talk a little bit about how this works. So a personality quiz or assessment, it adds real value to your customers by giving your customers insights about themselves. And this works by asking your customers targeted multiple choice questions and then scoring their responses in order to profile them as one of 4 types, which you will define. For example, if your quiz was about your gardening personality, like the example shown, a sample question might be something like, what would your ideal garden project be? And you might have 4 options: create a productive vegetable garden, design a garden with perfect coordination, wildlife habitat, or unusual gardening methods. And in this example, each question will be assigned a point to one of 4 customer types that are being scored. So let's say in this example, the first question about a productive vegetable garden might score a point to the pragmatic gardener type. The second answer would be maybe, say, the aesthetic gardener. The third might be the more naturalist type of gardener. And the fourth might be something like, I don't know, the experimenter or something. So let's say your quiz taker selected mostly D responses. At the end of the quiz, the result type is going to be the experimenter because that's the type that received the most points during the quiz. So that's the results page that your quiz taker will see. The results page will look something like this, of course, with your own content. Now, a little homework for you. For your quiz, please jot down somewhere the 4 types that you want to identify in your quiz. And when you're done, let's move on to the next step. Okay, now it's time to create your content. And if you don't have questions written yet, that's okay. I actually recommend using AI to take a first stab at creating all of your content because this will put everything in the right formatting. Then you can refine everything in your quiz to reflect your knowledge and expertise. So to begin, open up the PDF download that was emailed to you when you purchased the quiz and copy the prompt like the one that's shown in the screen here, but update all the areas in red with your unique quiz idea and the 4 unique result types that you wrote down in the previous step. When you're done with that, let me know and we'll move on to the next step. Okay, once you have the prompt written out exactly how you want it with your unique question and topic and all of your unique result types, we're going to move over to Claude.ai. You can see the URL up in the top, and we're going to simply paste that prompt as is directly into the field here and click enter. Claude AI will generate all the content you need for your questions, the multiple choice answers, the personality type results, and so on. Of course, again, this is just a starting point to refine your writing and get exactly everything the way you want it. Once you love how everything sounds and everything looks perfect, let's move on to the next step. Okay, it's been a couple minutes and Claude has finished creating your quiz. You should see something similar to what you're seeing on my screen, where on the left is some information that's letting you know what Claude did, and on the right is the actual content, including a title, questions with multiple choice answers, as well as the scoring, the profiles themselves, and descriptions of the profiles, and in-depth content that you'll be able to use to put directly onto your result pages. And so if this looks similar to what you have, of course, with your own content, you're all set to go to the next step. If you're having any problems here, of course, send me an email, Christopher@dreamtechbff.com, and we can get it sorted out. This works 99% of the time, but every now and then Claude will get a little bit confused. So if you have an issue, just let me know. Okay, now it's time to import that content from Claude into Typeform. So all you have to do is log into the Typeform account that you created earlier, and you should be on a page that looks something like this. So what I want you to do is go over to the left and click on this gray button that says Create a New Form. Then I want you to select Import Questions from the menu, and then I want you to cut and paste the first 5 questions and their answers from Claude. So let's go over there and do that. I'm going to grab these, and I'm going to go back to Typeform, and I'm going to drop them in. If you add more than 5 at once, sometimes it can make the import fail. So doing them 5 at a time is probably as many as you can do, unfortunately. Once the questions are imported, you're going to see them loaded up in a column on the left side. There they are. And then if you have more questions, just simply click this Add Content button, Import Questions, and then go back over to Claude and grab the next 5 questions and drag them back over and import them. And repeat until all of your questions are loaded. If you've used the prompt from Claude that we provided you, there'll be 20 questions, and it will take you probably 4 imports to do that. Sometimes you can add more than 5 at once and it works fine. We're going to try it now and see if it works. I just don't want you to get stuck. Once this is all complete, the process should take a matter of seconds or minutes to get all of this content in, and then you'll be all set to go. We're going to wait a second and make sure this all loads. So cue the high-speed camera. Okay, stop the high-speed camera. As you can see, it really doesn't do well unless you only upload about 5 at a time, so I highly recommend you doing that. It shouldn't take you too long, just a matter of minutes to do. And as you can see, all of your questions are now in the interface, and they're all set to go with multiple choice answers, and everything should be working and looking similar to this, of course, with your own content. If you've got your number of questions and everything's looking good, we can move on to the next step, adding a little bit of more content to make this quiz really work well for your quiz takers. Okay, you have all your questions and answers imported and you're all set to go. So now let's make a few more things that are going to make this quiz really come together. First, let's create the form fields where a quiz taker can enter their email and their name. This is a lead gen form, so this is a super important step. To do this, just go up to the Add Content button, click on Add Form Elements, and then we're going to click this Contact Info. And you'll see it automatically creates a step in the quiz where you can enter your own information. Over here on the left, it's this red box, and what I want to do is drag this up to the top so it's the first question in the quiz. And then when I go over here, I look on the right-hand side and I can see first name, last name, phone number, business, company, email, and so forth. And there's this little eye icon here. What I want to do is deselect the phone number and hide this here. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants to provide their phone number just for a quiz. I highly recommend you don't ask for that. As well, I don't think company is necessary or last name. This is more than enough information for somebody who's here experiencing your brand for the first time, just their first name and email. Of course, this is all up to you. Feel free to collect the information that you think is best for your customers. Now, this allows you to collect the name, the email, so when someone takes a quiz, this will be moved into your CRM and you'll be able to send newsletters and other broadcast emails to these people later on and be able to nurture them into prospects and customers eventually. So this is a super important step. Okay, great. We're making great progress. Now that you have all your questions and answers in the system and you have your form fields for your contacts and your leads set up, let's create all that functionality that makes your personality quiz work behind the scenes. The good news is Typeform makes this very, very easy. From the left side of the screen, I want you to click that drop down that says Universal Mode. And then in the drop down menu, I want you to click Match Quiz Mode. And then a screen's going to pop up. And in the middle of the screen, I want you to click Set Up Personality Quiz. And then what I want you to do is I want you to paste the 4 quiz result types into this field. So it's going to look something like this, of course, with your own types. And then what I want you to do is just click Continue. And AI is going to sort of give you a general idea. We can edit this later. If this looks okay, it's totally fine. Just leave it as is and click Continue. And what I want you to do is erase all of these if any of these show up. And then maybe you have to put none just to make sure it's sort of added in there. And then I want you to generate the quiz. And what sometimes happens is it will want to create an extra question or something, but it usually doesn't do that. Almost always what you will end up with is this set of 20 questions, and then you'll see you have your 4 quiz endings down here with these different pages. Now don't worry, we're going to be able to edit these in just a second. In fact, let's do that next. So the next step is to make those result pages look great. So if you look on the left side of your nav, you'll see all of your questions, and then at the bottom you'll see something that says quiz endings. And you'll actually see your 4 result types listed in the bottom, A, B, C, and D. These are the results that your quiz takers will see after they take a quiz, depending on the answers they provide. And you can add as much text here as you want. This is your opportunity to provide real value. You can describe their type, show what that means for them, provide insights, and also show your expertise and how your business can support them individually. You can even include links to your relevant offers or other text or video content that's available elsewhere in your ecosystem. So, like if we were to click on one of these pages, you'll see this is pretty boring. This would be a very lackluster result to get after taking a quiz. And they're probably the same for all of them. The good news is when you created your content with Claude, you actually also generated content for these pages as well. If you go back to your content, you'll actually see that each of these has a kind of a comprehensive overview of what the page means, what the result means. You can copy and paste this information, and you can grab it and you can drop it right in to these pages right here. You can grab this. You can make this bold if you want. You can make these bold to give it a little bit more formatting. There's a number of tools that you can use on the right-hand side to make this look better for you. Something like this allows somebody to see, okay, well, if I am the experimenter, these are my styles, these are my preferences, these are my opportunities to grow. But make this your own. Like, what links do you have? What information do you have that you can give to this kind of person? What kinds of programs or courses do you have available that somebody could use? What kind of prompts could you use to have them send you an email with questions or information for next steps? Use this as a way to connect personally with this person who has given you their time to get some sort of information about their profile, who they are, their role, and how your expertise can help them. One thing I like to do is also suggest that on the right-hand side, you can use this image or video to add an image here, anything you want. It just makes it look a little bit better when you're showing your landing page. Just have something there that kind of sets it off and gives it this sense of, okay, this is the type of person you are, something that people can relate to. So a results page like this actually converts pretty well. Again, having links and calls to action on this page will be super helpful for getting people to move on to the next step. If you have more questions about creating really nice results pages and you want to do more, you can always look up the Typeform manual to see all of the different things you can do with design here on the right, or just send me an email if you have any questions. I'd be happy to help you. All right. We've made great progress so far. You've created questions, answers, content. You've loaded that content into the quiz. You've created your results pages. And now, really the most complicated step is next. But we're going to move really slow, and it's going to be a very straightforward process. It's super important to do, though. We need to be able to define which answer gets scored as which kind of result. Otherwise, the quiz isn't going to know how to score each quiz taker. So this is a very important step. So let's move very slowly and methodically, and I promise you we can definitely get through this. First thing I want you to do is go up to the top of the page where it says workflow right here, and then I want you to click this button here that says matching rules. And what you're going to see is a window that comes up, and it's going to have your 4 result types. Sometimes there will be some information here. So what I want you to do, just to check the box, click delete all rules. Whether something happens or not, it's just good practice to do to kind of clear the deck so that we know for sure there isn't anything in here. So once you click delete all rules, you will now see this blank window that has the 4 result types, and under each is a drop down that says choose answers. So let's start with the pragmatist, which is option A, or result type A. If you've done the quiz setup correctly and everything has gone smoothly, the first answer, the answer A, should correspond to the type of person who would end up being a pragmatist. So, for example, you can see here, the first question is, when planning a new garden bed, your first consideration is how much maintenance it will require. So that definitely is the pragmatist in this sense. What Typeform wants you to do is then say, yes, this question is a pragmatist question. So I want to add it here. So for each question, you want to pick the answer that's going to match that result type. So I'm going to go through here and I'm going to click, 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 click each one, unfortunately. But this is a really important way for it to know exactly which ones are scored as which type. So I go here, 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 here. And what you'll see is with all the questions, you will have a checkbox and it's highlighted next to each of them. And you'll also see up here that they've all been added to this drop down. Now, if you click off to the side here, You can close that, and you're going to want to go to the next one, which is B, and I'm going to want you to select all the B's for this one. And you're going to want to go through and do this for each of the result types. You want to make sure that you only ever check one box in here, that you never check more than one box per result type, per answer, because you never want it to be confused about which one should be scored. So these are all B's, and I'm just going to do this all so you can see. I'm going to pick all the C's here. C, 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 C. And you probably want to check just to make sure that these are actually corresponding to your desired result types. They almost always should. There's no reason I can think of why they wouldn't if you follow the steps in the tutorial. That said, something can always be a little weird, so just double check and make sure. So I'm going to pick all the D's, D's, D, 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 D. Okay, and what you should see is if you have 19 questions like I do, you should see a question and then 18 plus next to each of them. You should see them all here, and then the most important thing to do is to click save. Please click save right here so that's all saved in the system. Now all of your quiz questions are scored correctly, and you should be able to be all set up to do the quiz and to launch it live. Congratulations, this was the most difficult part of creating the quiz. I am not part of Typeform. I don't know why it has to be that complicated for that one piece, but now it's all set up and you're all ready to go. Okay, next step. Okay, we only have 2 steps left, and this is the most exciting and easiest step of all. If you've done everything correctly, I just want you to click over here on the connect button that takes you over here. And what I want you to do is go up to the top right and click this button that's click share, and it should publish and give you this really cool animation that says that your quiz is published. Congratulations, it's live to the world. But don't worry, no one can actually find it until you share the link. So while it's public, it's still hidden from, Google search and all these other things. I recommend that you actually go through and try it and make sure that everything works great. Try pretending like you are a certain kind of person and click all of the A's and make sure that it gives you the right result at the end. Again, things can go wrong and be buggy. Almost always this works, but again, before you're showing this to your customers, you should just probably try to test it once. Now, a word of caution, you get 10 free quiz submissions, and those tests do count. So make sure you don't do more than 1 or 2 tests if you're, of course, hoping to get a lot of people coming into the quiz over the next month. You don't want to have to pay for an upgrade to the $25 account unnecessarily. Again, you get 10 free quiz takers per month on the free account with Typeform anymore, and you have to upgrade. And also I want to say, I hope it goes without saying that if you want to go over here and click content, you can always edit, update, delete, add questions, change quiz endings. You can do it whatever you want, whenever you want. It's never going to be a problem to make edits to your quiz as you go. So never worry about that. You can edit as you go. You can duplicate and make a new quiz from the work so your work won't be wasted. It's a very, very cool system that Typeform has that you can use not only for your quizzes, but also for intake forms and surveys and other things that you might want to do with your customers. Okay, enough said about that. We're going to move on to the absolute last step, which is connecting your Typeform to Zapier. And I'm going to show you where to do that and then kind of give you some instructions for how you can do that, again, on your own. Okay, if everything looks great and you ran a test and everything's working perfectly for you, you've done it. You have a quiz that's ready to show the world. But before you promote your quiz, we want to make sure that the email system that you use for your newsletters and your contact resource management system is connected to Typeform so that everyone who takes the quiz, their contact info is moved automatically into your CRM system. So again, your CRM system would be MailChimp or ConvertKit, HubSpot, Flowdesk, something like that. Typeform uses Zapier to connect to all CRMs. So you'll need a Zapier account to make this connection and auto import your quiz leads. A Zapier account is free, but you will have to go and create one before you go on to the next step. So pause this if you don't have one. If not, let's move on. What I want you to do is go up to the top here and click this button that says connect. And it's going to take you to a list of CRM systems and other applications that you can connect Typeform to. What you can do is go down to your list and find the one that you use. We use Kit a lot, so I'll pick that one. And it's going to ask you to log in to your Kit. I'm already logged into my Zapier and my Kit, so it automatically opened. If it didn't, it might ask you to log in before you did this. And it's going to create what it thinks is the best Zap for you to sort of connect Typeform to your Kit. Now there's a million different configurations that you may want. There's 100 different CRMs that you may be using, so I can't make a tutorial for all of these. But if you've used Zapier before and you've used your CRM before to make these type of integrations, this should be no problem for you. However, if you've gotten through all of the DIY system, but this one step with the CRM is giving you trouble, you can email me at Christopher@DreamTechBFF, and I can do this step for you for just $75. So just let me know if this is the place you're stuck. I'm happy to jump in and help you. We can get this done really quickly for you so that your quiz is set up and ready to go. And if not, that's it. Congratulations, you have a quiz built, created, ready to go. It's a really powerful lead generation tool that I hope you'll be able to use for years for your business, and something that can grow with your business as well. If you have any other questions about quizzes, lead gen, ads, funnels, email marketing or in automation, or Instagram marketing and automation, DreamTech is always here to help small businesses thrive and overcome tech headaches. So good luck with your next quiz system. I hope you get tons of new business from this, and let's stay in touch. Okay, have a great day.